Hi guys, it's PanelHopper here again, and today we are talking about what is, in my opinion, the worst of the Doctor Who Christmas specials, and of course, the worst of the 2009 special season, The Next Doctor. Now, the problem that I have with The Next Doctor is less to do with something fundamental like structure or the plot or any of the writing in particular. All of those things were the same standard that had been in series 3 and 4. Nothing particularly terrible. It's a Cyberman story at Christmas that's a bit weird, but otherwise it's fine. The main problem I really have is with the way that episode is or was basically marketed. It was a bait and switch. Now that's not to say that I don't think anyone was really taken in with the idea that Dave Morrissey really would be the next Doctor. I knew some people who were, but and I initially thought, well, maybe he was. And the twist itself, that spoilers, David Morrissey is not going to be playing another incarnation of the Doctor, isn't bad in itself. The problem I have is that the episode was built upon that to such a degree that it kind of destroyed what would have been a normal good Christmas episode. So if you think about The Next Doctor as an episode, you have the Doctor arrives in 19th century London at Christmas time. He encounters cyberized cats that look like people in costumes. He encounters the Cybermen and he encounters a man who believes himself to be the Doctor. And for a short time, the Doctor thinks he might also be the next incarnation of himself, or the next but one, as he puts it. And that, like I said, that in itself is not a terrible plot for a Doctor Who episode, particularly not an hour-long special at Christmas time. But the problem was that this episode had been built around, would David Morrissey really be the next Doctor? You know, the previews of that episode were very much focused on, oh yeah, David Morrissey might be the next Doctor. You never know. David Tennant is leaving. He might regenerate in this episode. You never know. We've got a season-long special. We've got a season of specials to say goodbye to David Tennant. He could regenerate in any one of them. You never know. And you know, at this point, Matt Smith hadn't even been announced yet. He wouldn't be announced for another month. And the episode just continually stops itself. Doctor Who has been self-aware before, but this episode, it stops itself to wink, nudge at the audience that maybe or maybe not David Morris's character of Jackson Lake might be the Doctor, and it just grinds the whole episode to a halt, because for a long time that episode spends a long time just continuously pushing that hint button, getting the audience to go along with it, and it almost breaks character. At some point, David Tennant stops being the Doctor and starts almost becoming an audience member in order to give these self-aware nudges to the idea that David Morris's character might be the Doctor, and it's just so bad. There are so many good things about the episode. I like, some of the cyber designs. The Cyber King is ridiculous, but it looks like it might fit a kind of steampunk Cyberman, but it looks cheap as well. Doctor Who, especially in the David Tennant era, didn't have the same budgets as it would go on to have in the Matt Smith and the Peter Capaldi era, but that Christmas special in particular looks cheap. And some of the RTD, Russell T Davies, cheesy humour that's in all of those specials that he wrote, but he's turned up to 11 in this, and it's just, it's weird, and it breaks the fourth wall too much almost to really get away with it. And then of course it doesn't really pay off, because the having heavily signposted that a twist was coming, having pushed marketing on this episode that says, oh, maybe he's the Doctor, it then tries to have its twist, but it's by that point it's so overdone it that it just becomes ridiculous, and I can't stand it. So that to me is why the Next Doctor manages to be the worst Christmas special of all of them. Maybe tied with the Doctor, the Witch and the Wardrobe, or whatever it's called, because it's just so lame. Lame is the only word I can think of it that comes to the top of my head, because it just wants its cake, and it wants to have its cake and eat it too, and it just really bothers me. It's not a twist, it's just a twist in the marketing rather than the writing. So yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.